Welcome to another episode of Beyond The Sidelines, a special interviewless episode. Joining me from the St. Lucia Lookout is Campbell and Angus.
G'day, boys.
Hello.
Cheers for having me on. Really appreciate what you guys are doing for grassroots sport. Thanks for having me on.
It's not about you, mate. It's about me.
That was a little bit of a jinx, but thanks for having me on for the interview today, boys. I really liked your previous guest, really high caliber guest, so thought I'd add to that. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
You're not
boys.
the funny guy. I'm the funny guy, so it's about me. It's about me today.
No, we're actually...
It's not Gus, so...
No.
Come on.
Oh, come on!
It's a two-horse race.
We're actually talking about the Rugby
League World Cup, mate. No, we're talking about the Rugby
World Cup.
We are indeed. It's
I
massive.
wish it was a Rugby League World Cup.
Massive.
I'm a little bit excited.
Happy there's not.
It's like Christmas Eve for me. I can't wait.
It's like Easter for me.
Just another day.
Yeah. No, I'm actually super keen. We're all wearing our
Just like
respective
Easter.
jerseys. Yeah, I don't know.
What is
We're all wearing... Yeah, Easter's the worst holiday. I think we can all agree on that.
Free chocolate. I don't know. It's pretty sweet.
Sweet, get it? Because of chocolate? Anyway, we're all...
I didn't even do that on
Mate,
purpose.
exactly,
I am
no
the funny
pun
guy.
intended. I don't know if you are. We're all wearing our
It's a
respective
gift.
jerseys.
Some would say it's a blessing. Others would call it a curse.
It is a curse, I think.
It's a curse for us.
Yeah, for sure. Finn's wearing that disgusting black jersey with no character to it at all.
Oh.
Angus and I opted for the old school jerseys.
Yep.
Finn missed the memo.
I did.
Yep.
I'm not in the
wearing
group chat anymore.
The
so-
Proteas.
Got the primetime Wallabies jersey going
Yeah,
on.
I got the Proteas primetime jersey on, so...
What do you mean by that, prime time?
Well, I mean, 95 and, 2007?
Yeah.
So
I get that for you, but
yeah, when was
What are you
the
talking about,
Wallabies
Gussy?
primetime?
They're always primetime. Come on.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
why they won't make it out of the group stage.
Oh, no. And
Anyway.
we've actually got a Webb Ellis Cup in
Well,
here with
we
us.
do.
I
So,
can't wait until
the Webb Ellis Cup.
until the All Blacks lose the final.
Anyway,
to the Proteas.
guys, we'll talk about some
England.
rugby soon. But for now, we've got a new segment this week. Thought we'd
We
change
do.
things up. We're calling
Spice
it
it
the
up a little
Fast
bit.
5. So it's going to be 5 issues, 5 minutes. If you can't do the maths, it's 1 minute per issue.
Should
Wait.
be able to do that, man.
Can you?
Wait. Yeah, okay, got it.
Grab the whiteboard.
Got it, yep. So carry the one. Yeah, okay, got it. All right, let's get on with it.
Right, I'm going to take your lead here.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I said it, it just didn't make sense.
What?
I'm confused now.
Fast
You're confused? So, okay, so
I
it's
thought we were doing a
1
fast
minute.
4.
It's fast 4 plus 1.
Okay.
So it's
Wait.
4 issues, 4 issues, 1 minute each, and then 1 extra issue for another minute.
Take away the 4.
All right, now you're just repeating my joke.
Gus-
Yeah,
Campbell's
well-
joke. What's your name? Campbell.
What's it? Yeah, I think so.
Nice to meet you, mate.
Yeah, hey mate, nice to meet you. There you go, mate. Cheers.
Okay, we're going to get on with this segment,
Well,
or are we just
can I just
gonna-
comment on his handshake?
weak?
Firm to begin with, but then kind of limp. You need
Yeah,
to
I
work
was
on
trying
it.
to get out of there as soon as possible.
Anyway.
No one likes a limp hand.
Anyway.
No, Mike's on the pitch.
Anyway. Issue number 1.
Yeah, we're starting the clock. All right, 3, 2, 1.
We're
go.
talking player safety.
Are we talking CTE kind of play safety? Are we talking necks, backs?
Gussie,
We are actually talking fireworks.
bit of fireworks.
Oh,
And not the fireworks that happens on the field,
No.
guys.
No.
but I'm
Okay, we are talking about Joey Leilua, of course, player for the Canberra Raiders, who a firework set off in his face.
Yes, he got a shrapnel
Bit of shrapnel in his eye.
Harry
he
didn't
was-
lose his eye. Like, he played too. So the fact that he
Yeah.
played is pretty
Yeah.
cool, but it could have been so much worse for
Because
him.
that they started the game and you're a bit like, okay, what's going on? Joey Leilua is off on the side here and he's picking at his eye and like, oh, what's going on? NRL officials running around the place going mental. Got a bit of shrapnel in his eye.
Trainers
So-
were spraying some water into it. Okay.
Oh.
The magic water, it tends to do the trick.
It does. Michael Jordan special stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But it just shows that it's player safety is so important nowadays, and you can't risk stuff like that with fireworks and stuff. They shouldn't be harming players.
yeah. Well, what do you think of the fireworks?
Well, that's the buzz.
I think it's a
That's a
bad-
buzzer.
That's the
That's a
buzzer.
buzzer.
But
Sorry,
before
sorry.
we leave, the takeaway from that is don't do drugs. Drink plenty of water because it does the trick.
What? Drink it through your eye.
Exactly.
Don't put players
All right.
in that
All right.
dangerous situation.
We gotta move
now
on.
Let's go on.
Number 2, Toby Green appealed his.
Absolute grub. I hate him. I hate him.
Well said. Keep
Let's
going.
just- let's
At the
just
time
keep
of
it-
recording, he's appealing his second tribunal of the final series. He was last week, the week before, for the
Second in 2
Bulldogs.
weeks.
Yeah, for the Bulldogs game for eye gouging Marcus Bontempelli. He got away scot-free, only a $7,500 fine, which is pretty much just a slap on the wrist.
Such a
Wow,
grub
that-
act, though. It really is like, why you're doing that in finals to begin with.
Well,
Then he
I-
got illegal contact in the Lions game with illegal face contact against Lachie Neale. and he got given a 1-game ban, and now he's appealing it.
Well, Lockie Neal did say he didn't touch his eye. He said there was a lot of contact around his face. But is that Lockie Neal just being a good bloke and just going...
No, I think it's the AFL going, people have gotten really upset about our verdict on the Marcus Bontempelli one. We actually might need to give him a game ban. Here's an opportunity.
Well, I think eye gouging should be an 8-week. You should miss 8 weeks. It's a dirty act.
Got to cut you there, mate.
It needs to leave every single code.
100%.
AFL, NRL, whatever it is.
Gussy,
there's the buzzer.
Be quiet.
Okay.
Issue number 3. Did Australia live up to expectations at the FIBA Basketball World Cup?
I think they did all right. I know a lot of people were thinking that they'd go all the way.
No.
The fact that they made it to that third and fourth playoff, I thought they did all right.
Look, when the United States got knocked out and they beat France, it was very much game on for the Boomers, and they couldn't get it done. I actually thought it was really disappointing.
But France weren't the team to beat. Spain were the team to beat, right?
Well,
I think we did quite well to take it to double overtime. America
Mate, they
was gone already.
They were leading.
Yeah.
I think it was complacency, and then Bogut's comments about corruption and stuff. I thought that was pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
But the Boomers, they still should have won that game, and they didn't close it out. It's their fault.
And if the States get knocked out early or get knocked out at all, you need to be winning that competition at that stage. You need, we all know they're the creme de la creme, and if they're out, you need to be winning that competition.
And I don't think they can do that next year when
Definitely
the USA
not.
have their players come back for the Olympics.
Olympics.
Anyway,
Certainly not.
Next issue 4. The Sunny Coast Lightning, the netball side, Suncorp Super Netball, they lost their first final. They were trying to go for the three-peat, so is the dynasty over?
Well, they were established in 2016. They won 2017, 2018.
Straight off Wikipedia.
I mean, it
keep
wasn't.
going,
That was actually general knowledge. I just wrote it down. Okay. Anyway, right, that's a pretty good start. Like, you don't see many sides in sporting history that establish their club and then win 2 straight premierships.
Certainly don't.
I think they'll win another one. They'll probably win next year.
They probably will.
Look,
What part of their game do you really admire, though? Like, what are their...
Well, I don't watch a lot of netball, but...
well, if you don't watch a lot, that means you watch a little bit, so...
Well, they've recruited well. They've got a few Australian players in that side, and they've done well for them.
It's a character of a good side to bounce back, so...
We'll see what happens next year,
This next 3 years is going to be really testing for them, but I think if history's anything to go off, back them.
They'll
Anyway.
be back at the big dance.
Number 5, but Campbell, stop the clock!
Stop it. All
Stop
right.
the clock.
Now, we haven't told Gus about this one.
We haven't.
He's going in blind.
So this is why I thought it was a fast 4.
You're like Leilua at this stage. You've got a bit of shrapnel in your eye. You're blind.
Now, I don't like bandwagoners, so can you play the footage, please?
Question.
I'll be the next
The
Wednesday,
atmosphere at
Yeah,
those
me too.
games.
and I'll be there the Wednesday afterwards.
Yeah, season ticket
And I'll be
holder.
after
that.
Gus.
Now, Gus, mate. This was episode 3 that audio was from. That was for the Strikers game versus Wellington.
We've been to 3 Strikers games. How many games have you been to?
I've been to 1.
1 is the answer.
Did you go to the Strikers game against Moreland Zebras?
No, I didn't.
And a few weeks ago, you talked about how the Strikers were definitely your favourite side. So is that just because they're winning?
No. Well, I mean, no, not really.
Then why not?
I actually like Olympic. So you guys haven't checked your facts.
You just said you're a season ticket holder.
Well, I mean, I like them both. I like the Strikers. Of course.
Because they're in the semi-finals. Congratulations to them too.
I'm not a bandwagon, okay? You're not trying to get me for being a bandwagon.
Well, what word pops in your mind, Campbell?
Bandwagon.
Bandwagon.
I'm not a bandwagon. I'm supporting my city.
Anyway,
okay.
we'll get him a Golden State jersey for Christmas.
We will.
Look, I don't care if it was Olympic, Strikers.
Look, we
They're
ran
all-
out of
they're all-
time. We
they're
ran
all
out of time.
Brisbane.
Sorry, you're not going to have...
You got to be quiet now. You got to be quiet. Anyway, boys,
Was that it?
that was the start. That was the first ever Fast 5, and that was pretty good. And that was a bit of a different way to introduce a new segment for us, an interviewless interview.
We don't normally open up that way, but I liked it.
Do you want to keep interrupting me? Or
Wait, what?
do you want to keep interrupting me?
Wait.
Sorry, did you say? Did-
Gussy, get your own joke. Anyway, we're talking Rugby World Cup because we talked about it before. I said it was like...
Like what? Why? I've done nothing wrong.
Gussy,
Okay.
it's not about you right now. It's about Japan.
Yeah,
It's
don't be
about
selfish.
It's about the sport of rugby. It's about William Webb Ellis, who founded this beautiful game. Thank you, William. Anyway, Rugby World Cup 2019, the first Rugby World Cup in Asia. How are we thinking about it, boys?
Keen?
Are we?
It's
Excited.
Easter.
It's like Easter for
It's
you,
like
mate.
Easter
it's
for
like
me.
Easter.
Yeah.
And
The old KO will get a good watching.
Oh, it'll be getting a flogging this week.
Oh, it will.
the first.
Next few weeks.
So if you're listening on a Friday, which is the day this podcast would have been released, it is Easter. It's the day of the first game, and
Yep.
it's an absolute blockbuster to set us off. It very well could be the final. Japan v Russia.
Ooh, mate, we've got the most Japanese names in the world. We've got James Moore and Luke Thompson, followed by skipper Michael Leach.
Michael Leach.
Know that you weren't listening to the English squad being announced there? That's Japan.
Maybe you are funny guy Campbell.
Cheers, mate. Can I just clarify? It's not actually Easter. It's not. It's middle of what, September?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they should know that.
Yeah, no, but you were saying it is
that was
Easter.
That was a
Easter.
little funny from.
No, I mean, you can't compete with this genius over here, Mr. Seinfeld over there.
Thanks, mate. I'm blushing.
Yeah, you're welcome, mate.
No. You mentioned Michael Leach.
Yes.
Michael Leach, he is their leader. He's as Japanese as it gets. When he gets up in the morning, he just jumps straight into a kimono.
Oh, he bleeds the rising sun, I guess.
Bleeds the rising sun.
He loves the sumo wrestling and all the other Japanese things.
That being said, he might not sound Japanese, but he is a very good rugby player, and he is a very good, captain for this Japanese side who will really try hard to get out of the group stage for the first time.
Definitely. He's so integral to them as well, just that leadership in the forward pack there.
What else impresses you about his game?
Just really hard-nosed in the contest.
Good work, good guess.
Cheers.
Anyway, Japan and Russia, we can't forget about Russia. They're in Pool A alongside Scotland and Ireland.
Yeah,
I think Russia are going to struggle.
You think? Oh,
Yeah.
you've heard it here first.
Look,
Russia aren't great at rugby. Newsflash.
I really think they've got a tough time at this World Cup, guys.
What's sports bet put them at?
And that's all from Gussy.
But-
We'll hear from him in, 5 minutes when he makes another obvious statement?
Make that 10 minutes. I might silence the voice for a while. But yeah, Russia. Wow.
Jesus, mate. That,
Well, hey, Russia, wow. But for me,
I
it's
don't know
between
what I'm talking about.
can we get back to the rugby?
it's
instead of
between
Gussy's
Scotland
stupidity?
and Japan for me in that group to come out second. Obviously, Ireland are in that one as well.
Mate, I could argue that because even though I probably think the same, I think
Yeah.
Ireland and Scotland, they're the obvious choices here. Ireland have a lot of injuries going into that Scotland clash. That
Yep.
Scotland clash is, I think, tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
or Sunday. Anyway,
Yeah.
Robbie Henshaw, Lions centre, and Rod Carney.
Todd Carney.
Rod Kearney, isn't it? I got it wrong. Anyway,
The human water fountain.
they're both on-
Todd Carney.
they're both under injury clouds going into that Scotland
Yeah.
game. So if they're out, that's a massive, massive loss for that Irish team, who are world number one, I will say, as I grip my teeth.
Not the Blacks.
You know, I'm glad Ireland are world number one. It'll make New Zealand,
Make
fix
them want it a
fix
little
up
bit
their
more.
game.
Oh,
Maybe.
mate. No.
Look to improve at the World Cup.
Saying they want it a little bit more because they're not number one in the world. Man, you do
They-
you do not understand New Zealand rugby.
Look, I think they might want it a bit more, seeing as they're not number one.
And you definitely don't understand rugby.
They might work a lot harder.
Why? Keep going.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
no.
I'm
Keep
saying
going. Keep going.
They probably also don't have as much pressure on them
Definitely not.
as well.
No. Oh, you are.
I think they're still expected to win,
Yeah,
though.
they
No.
are, but
No.
also I know a lot of people like Finn doesn't really care about rugby rankings, but it is important, and Ireland have
They're not-
obviously deserved to get up to number one, and New Zealand will be looking to turn that around, and they'll be looking to get back up there.
The world rugby rankings are a joke, and that's not me just being a sad, depressed Kiwi because we've lost our ranking. That's just the reality. You know, we've got teams who are moving up. New Zealand beat Tonga 92-7 and moved down a place. What?
I don't get it, eh?
Well, you
Exactly.
are versing Tonga, mate. Like, come on. It's it's not much of a matchup. I mean, I guess you take on Australia. Australia's a decent rugby side, but Ireland, they've got England. They play Wales constantly. Good sides. I mean, it'll boost your rugby ranking definitely. I can understand why they're up at number one. They're playing some good footy, but have they a lot of people say they kind of they don't save their good footy for when it counts. So we'll see
Is
how
that
they
Ireland?
do. Yeah, Ireland.
But Ireland have a knack. They have a history of not being able to get past the quarterfinals,
Yes.
and that's a bit of not being able to deal with pressure well, but also not having that expectation. It's kind of a bit of a both.
Bit of a catch-22.
And they contradict each other a little bit, I guess. But they've never gone into a tournament world number one. This is the first time in their history they've ever been ranked number one in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and does that put pressure on...
That puts way more pressure on them,
yeah.
for sure. Especially from the Irish media and the Irish community. I'm sure they'll be expecting...
Big things. They'll be expecting.
We're world number one. Why shouldn't we win?
They've never had this expectation.
No.
And
which is why I'm saying, does it take it away from New Zealand a little bit?
No.
Do they go under the radar a little bit more?
Look,
or are they still...
We'll talk about this when we talk about the All Blacks, but Steve Hansen, he'll be playing it down, and he'll be saying, Ireland, they are the best team in the world. The pressure's on them, it's not on us. And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But again, I'll talk about New Zealand when we talk about New Zealand.
Yeah. But you'll be saying, as Ireland, you'll be saying, we are the best team in the world. We've earned the number one ranking.
Yeah, exactly.
We need the mindset of we are going to win the World Cup and to get through. And they'll get through easily, I think. It's really between Scotland and Japan for that second berth.
Yeah.
Russia and Samoa, not really sure.
Look, for Ireland to win, though, they need Jonathan Sexton out on the field.
Definitely.
He's the reigning World Rugby Player of the Year, but if he goes down injured, their backup is Carberry. He's the backup. He's another good player, but he's not a great player.
He's not Johnny Sexton.
He doesn't have the footy knowledge of Johnny Sexton.
He's not a player who's going to take Ireland to World Cup success, especially when this has been labelled the most open Rugby World Cup in its history. It's the 9th World Cup.
I would say it is too.
There you go.
I'd say it is.
Another exclusive.
Definitely. Yeah,
Thank you.
cheers, mate.
Thank you.
But I do agree. I think it is. Like, New Zealand aren't looking as threatening as they could. I'm not really sure about any team really being dominant at the moment.
Well, does recent form for the Kiwis scare you a little, Finn?
No. And I'll tell you why when we talk about New Zealand.
Let's talk about New Zealand.
They're in Pool C. We're doing this A, B.
No, they're in Pool B.
They are in Pool B.
Yes.
Yeah,
I did get that
That's
wrong.
what I'm saying. Let's talk about them.
I just want to say this, though. It's the same with Scotland. They've got Finn Russell at 10, Stuart Hogg at 15. If one of those guys goes down injured, that's curtains.
Yeah.
And this Japanese side, they could get up against Scotland. But from what I saw against them playing South Africa last week, man, they are way out of their depth.
Does the home ground advantage give them anything, you reckon?
I think you guys would have seen videos during the week, and I hope you guys listening have as well. The Japanese public have received the World Cup. It's just been incredible how they've received it.
Yeah.
At that Japan South Africa game, they had about not 15,000, but they had a few thousand Japanese people learning their South African national anthem.
Wow. Really?
Hours before kickoff, and then they sung it. So if you watch the game back, you hear the Japanese national anthem. Obviously, huge reaction, but equally as such when the South African national anthem was sung.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. You've also got teams like there were about 25 schoolboys who did a haka for New Zealand when they rocked up at their hotel.
That's awesome.
They're doing these things they're welcoming teams differently, and it's really cool to see because you don't see this with other World Cups. Because all of the other World Cups have been in traditional rugby places, Western countries.
Yeah.
And, teams that see these teams all the time. And Japan just don't get that. So they're trying to embrace it, and they're embracing it well.
Rugby in Japan is getting bigger, though, for sure. They're, especially at university level. Waseda University is a massive university for rugby. And more rugbies are picking it up. More universities are picking it up. And it's been a massive thing over there for years now, and they just need to convert it to the national stage.
You can just see their social media, the Rugby World Cup social media pages and all that, and how much they're embracing it.
Exactly what I just said.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to see. It's great.
All right,
crazy.
Boys, before we move on from Pool A, who are your tips? So first and second.
Yeah, Ireland, obviously, is number one for me, and then I'm going to go Japan second, just because home team.
I really don't rule that out. I wouldn't rule that out.
No, it's either between them and Scotland, obviously.
Scotland's form of late has not been up to standard, I don't think. That being said, they could beat Ireland. I really wouldn't rule that out either. So this opening weekend of rugby could really, really change the face of the World Cup.
Yep. I'd say Pool A and Pool D are the easiest pools.
Oh, yeah.
To people to win in.
Without a doubt.
I'd say Pool A is definitely the weakest.
Well, yeah, I also think Ireland... I think Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gussy. I think
Yeah.
those teams will be too good. And
You reckon
I ju-
Ireland, Scotland?
Yeah, I don't think Japan's got the class.
All
to
right, we'll
beat
go with
the
that.
Iran.
and
We,
boys-
we are doing a joint bracket here, so we've all done our individual brackets, but we're doing a joint one. I'll keep track of it for us.
we'll jump over to Pool B. Now, this is the big pool for Campbell and I.
Yes.
It's our allegiances, our sides, our nations
Our nations.
clashing for World Cup supremacy. And this pool, New Zealand and South Africa, they'll play each other.
Yep. Opening round.
Opening round. But I wouldn't rule them out for playing again come final.
No, I wouldn't either.
It happened in 2011. New Zealand played France in the pool, and they met in the final. So
Look, in South Africa, they've been a bogey side of New Zealand lately.
They have.
I would not be surprised if they get one up over them as
and
well.
New Zealand's always going to be the biggest obstacle at the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't bode well for New Zealand where they've been struggling against the box recently.
Yeah, if they suffer an early loss, how detrimental do you reckon that would be to their World Cup campaign?
New Zealand?
Not at
Yeah,
all.
New Zealand.
Not at all. New Zealand, they're a team who can beat anyone. And even if they come second in the pool, they know they can beat South Africa.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
regardless of where you come in the pool, they know that they're going to have to win 3 big games in order to lift
Yeah.
good old Bill.
Yeah.
So I think they could lose, arguably an easier side of the draw, should things go to plan, I guess. But it doesn't throw things off at all. They'll go back to the drawing board and they'll improve. But my secret for New Zealand, not a secret, but my observation is New Zealand went through 24 years of heartbreak between 87 and 2011 of not winning World Cups. And this is a team who goes into World Cups expecting to win. Ever since then, they have won. And I think, when you start winning, you get a feel for it. Or they've learned how to deal with pressure. And they have to deal with pressure every week as well, out of World Cups. And that's something other countries like Ireland, even South Africa, don't necessarily have to deal with to the extent of New Zealand.
Well, you grow to expect winning.
Well, they expect to win, but they have to win.
Yeah.
They have to win every game. I said this to you a few weeks ago. When you watch the NRL, Sydney Roosters say, if they drop a few games during the season, that happens. The All Blacks, they're expected to win 14 games out of 14 every year. Otherwise, it's a failure. Otherwise, that's a black mark against that year.
Definitely. And I think what shows their, mental fortitude the most out of New Zealand, whether they lose the first game or win the second game, is how they bounce back in the Bledisloe this year. They lost the first game against Australia, and we thought, oh, here we go. Australia could actually win it back. But because there's only 2 games this year, New Zealand put in an excellent second performance when we were thinking, wow, New Zealand aren't really that hot at the moment. And they put a great performance.
Still didn't think we were going to go over there and beat them. But
No, but they did put a great performance again
they cleaned
after a
us up.
loss,
Yeah.
right?
New Zealand had 3 mediocre performances before that Auckland test. They played against Argentina in Buenos Aires. Just got past them.
Yeah.
Played Ireland then, didn't they?
No, they didn't.
Who did they play
They
then?
played South Africa and
South-
Wellington.
South
drew.
Africa, that's who
And
it
they
was.
drew.
In Wellington, yeah.
Like I just said, again.
Yeah, I'm
And-
just saying because it was a home game, so it's even more surprising.
And
Jesus,
then of course the All Blacks went to Perth and
Yes.
got thumped by
At Optus.
the Wallabies at Optus, the Fortress, courtesy of Scott Barrett's red card in the 39th minute. So Scott Barrett's back. That's another big plus for the All Blacks. The teams have been announced, and I think the key matchups, boys. Should we go through them?
Key matchups in that game?
New Zealand, South Africa.
Yeah, go.
Starting halfbacks.
Yep.
Huge. Aaron
My
Smith.
boy.
Faf de
de
Klerk.
Klerk. I love Faf.
Say that-
Faf de Klerk.
He's probably my favourite rugby player.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's a giant slayer, isn't he?
He is a giant slayer because he doesn't play to his size, and that's what I really love about him. He's pushing and shoving. He's having a go, and he's shorter than me, and I'm 5'8". So yeah. Anyway,
I've loved Aaron Smith though in the lead up to this World Cup. He was very good against Australia.
he was good against Australia in Auckland,
Yes,
but aside from that, his form was wavering a wee bit. So it's important for him to really lift at the World Cup or continue that form that we saw in Bledisloe too.
I like that he plays with a sense of urgency and passion about his game.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
The other key matchup, I'd say 2 of 3, is the fly halves.
Yep.
Richie
understandable.
Mwanga versus Andre Pollard.
Yep. Do you think Richie will start at fly half?
The teams have been named.
They have been named, the actual starting teams?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Richie is starting at fly half, and this is the All Blacks still trying to fine-tune that 10-15 combo.
Yeah.
About shifting the World Rugby 2-time Player of the Year to fullback, which doesn't make sense to some.
No.
Yeah.
Because why would you move the greatest player on the planet out of position?
Mm-hmm.
But it's about slotting Mo'unga in, and if he performs well on Saturday, the All Blacks win.
Oh, yeah. And that's so important, is that while Beauden Barrett may be the best player in the world, making sure you have the strongest team overall is so important.
Exactly.
So if you can fit both of them in and he does a job defensively and attacking.
Exactly. You don't want to be relying on one player.
But the
You
good thing for
want
the
everyone to work together.
The good thing for the All Blacks, though, is that, say Richie Mo'unga goes down, Beauden Barrett just switches back to fly half, and Ben Smith goes to fullback, right? They've got that depth. They can replace that. Teams like South Africa, if Andre Pollard goes down, they cannot win the World Cup.
No.
They cannot get close because they've got Yanchis on the bench. Elton Yanchis. He lost 3 Super Rugby finals on the trot. This bloke can't perform in big games, and quite frankly, you probably don't want him on the field even for 5-10 minutes in a semi-final.
Say he's due for a win. Maybe coming in the World Cup final.
Again,
who knows?
you could argue that, mate, or you could say he's just not good at big games. And
big game management.
I think we've seen that. Andre Pollard, to me, is the best player on the planet this year.
Yeah.
So again, he is pivotal. If he goes down injured, goodbye South Africa, 4 more years.
Oh, they've got such a good squad, the South African squad at the moment. Lots of excitement in the back line. What do we think about the forwards in the packs in these two games?
South Africa is always big guys, angry guys.
We like to eat our beautifuls over there. Eh?
Exactly. And I think the All Blacks, they've tried to match that, certainly on the bench. You know, they named Shannon Frizzell on the bench. Shannon Frizzell, he was called up late to the squad because Luke Jacobson was ruled out of the World Cup with concussion. So Shannon Frizzell, he's gotten off a plane and he's been thrown straight into the match day 23. If they wanted to play more conservative, they would have named Matt Todd. Matt Todd's a real traditional open side flanker. He doesn't do anything special, but he gets into the breakdown. He'll steal the ball. He'll do what good open sides do, but they've gone for Frizzell. And yeah, they're trying to match this big physical pack of South Africa.
They've got great forwards, South Africa, like Malcolm Marx and company.
Malcolm Marx, he is top 3 best players. He's in the top 3 best players in the world.
Yep,
he is a
definitely.
very good player. But his line-out throwing is a bit of a concern.
Yeah. Do you reckon they just swap it over and put someone else in the line-out? No?
I don't see that happening. I think as a hooker, that's part of your job.
It is, but if there's someone who's better at it, and he doesn't have to be his job, right?
It doesn't have to be, but if
you need to be winning your line out, and you need the best player there. And
if it's not him, put someone else there.
Well, the concern then becomes if he's not throwing, who is? And is he a better lifter than that person who's replacing him?
Which he may not be.
And you can't just take a hooker out of the line out altogether and go, Andre Pollard, you're a fly half, but come throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's a bit bizarre, but...
And you don't want to pull your fly half out of the back line.
No.
It pretty much defeats the purpose of having the line out in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think they'd do that.
Yeah, this pool will be decided this weekend, I think. If the All Blacks win, they'll top the pool. If South Africa don't, if South Africa win, they'll top the pool.
Yeah. I think the others are there to make up numbers.
Italy and Canada are quite...
Italy, they're a tier 1 nation. I get that. I get what you're saying, Campbell. But they've never made it out of the group.
Yeah. Oh, they're not going to make it out of the group. It is an absolute cakewalk for New Zealand and South Africa.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense why they're a tier 1 nation even.
No.
It really doesn't, because they're in the Six Nations. That's why they got the nod. That's why they got the job. But they don't play like it. They consistently get battered by these teams.
I still don't mind, as competition-wise, Italy and Canada are not that bad compared to like Namibia and Samoa and all these other countries.
They're average.
Canada, they're still made up of amateur players.
Yeah.
There's still some amateur players in that team, which you don't expect to see at a professional World Cup in 2019.
Yeah.
But they are headlined by Tyler Ardron. He used to play for the Chiefs, or does play for the Chiefs. Very good player, but again, one player can't win you a World Cup. He can't win you a game.
Yep.
No.
Not saying that Canada are going to win the World Cup, because, Jesus, if I thought that was true, I'd put a lot of money on that.
Oh, yeah. I think they've been much better in previous years as well.
They have.
I can see Canada winning probably one game. I
they'll
think
beat
they'll
Namibia.
challenge. They'll beat Namibia. I think
Easy.
they'll challenge Italy.
They could come out with 2 wins.
I think they could. I think Italy will beat them, but expect a good matchup between those two, because they're looking pretty even.
Yeah, it looks like Namibia will be getting the
battle for
wooden spoon.
I think it's a battle for third place here.
But with some of these teams at the World Cup, it's just a matter of, it's great to be here.
Yes.
And that's still the feel, and I think that's the feel with Namibia. And it's because they don't have players playing in Europe. They don't have a professional competition or At least not one that I've heard of. So
Most of them are South
So,
African playing.
who's winning that
Exactly.
one?
South African.
Who is winning the pool? This comes down to the first game this weekend. It's on Saturday.
Again, I just said mine, and mine's pretty obvious. You should know anyway.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah, all right, let's go. I'm going to say South Africa. That's
Oh,
who
yeah.
I put as...
What?
Actually, what did I put? No, I actually put New Zealand as coming out first.
Wait, what did I put?
You're
I
good.
put New Zealand coming
yeah,
out first because I think you will get the better of us, but it may come out different in the final.
No,
It could be some revenge.
Yeah.
Look, if the All Blacks win by 25 on Saturday, they will win the three-peat.
I agree. I agree.
Because, again, it's about how teams deal with pressure, and I don't think teams know how to deal with pressure as well as the All Blacks.
No,
All right.
definitely not.
And that's what World Cups are.
Definitely not. Anyway, we move on to Pool C, which features England, France, Argentina,
The pool
USA,
of death.
and Tonga.
It is the
That's
pool of
what they're
death.
Probably
saying.
is a bit.
And will England get knocked out in the pool stage for back-to-back World
No.
Cups?
No, I don't think so.
No, I've got them at top.
Yeah,
think so.
I've got them finishing top as well. I think Argentina will go through with them.
That's what I had too.
Yeah, I don't see France doing much.
France is the
and-
biggest competition in that group,
I agree.
no doubt.
Yeah, I don't see them going through. I don't see USA or Tonga challenging. I think they'll have a good game, USA and Tonga, when they play each other. But
That'll be a good game.
yeah,
I don't mind
once
the
again,
USA.
they're just
I like the USA, but they're not... Until Major League Rugby, which has been set up last year, until that really becomes a
Kicks
big
off.
thing,
Yeah.
USA just aren't going to be a force. And they could be a force. Because imagine that. Imagine if some of their athletes start going, hey, I'm not going to go to the Combine. I'm not going to go play NFL. I'm going to go represent the wide of
Antonio-
the USA.
look. Antonio Brown might consider.
He might consider it. Mama, they free me.
Well, there's no helmets.
There's
so
no helmets. He'll be fine.
I have nothing to complain about. They won't let me use my Steelers mouth guard.
Oh, damn it.
Damn it.
Who do we reckon's first in that pool, guys?
England.
England, and
Yeah.
then who do we reckon
Argentina.
second? Argentina.
Yeah.
Any key matchups? Anything to look out for there, boys?
Well, I think the big three games,
Yes.
a few games, is England, Argentina, and France. The three big
Yeah.
teams. And it's about how they face each other. So, again, on Saturday, we've got a massive Saturday of rugby. Argentina play France.
Yes.
And then
that's huge.
arguably, whoever wins that
That's the battle
Is
for
going to-
second.
yeah.
gets second place.
Exactly.
Unless, you can beat England.
Yes, I completely agree.
And England, can they deal with pressure well? Again, they've shown maybe they can't. I think they've learnt, and they've got Eddie Jones at the helm now, and I think
Mhm.
he's changed things a bit.
He's a
But,
great coach, so.
yeah, I see England topping that, and I see Argentina coming through second.
Mhm.
That being said, France,
they're smoky for that one.
both France and Argentina, their histories at the World Cup are awesome.
Yeah.
Argentina, especially the last few World Cups, I think 2007 they came third.
Mm.
2011 they made the quarters. 2011 they made the quarters. 2015 they made the semis.
Almost beat the All Blacks at one time, didn't they?
They
that was a
got
while ago.
they got close in 2015 in the pool stage,
Yeah.
but didn't really test them that much. But
Mm.
that being said, France, they've also made 3 Rugby World Cup finals.
Yep.
They haven't won one. So, I mean, they can't quite
Chokers.
finish the job.
He's
Over-
choking.
0 for 3.
Over 3 strikeout, baby.
That being said, I think both Argentina and France, they both lift at the World Cup. That's what I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
Definitely.
So if England sleep on them,
yeah.
could be
If
it
England
could be an
aren't-
upset on the cards.
Yeah, if England aren't
Yeah.
prepared for that, who knows
Yeah.
what'll happen.
But again, I think we're all in agreement there. I think England
definitely
and
are.
Argentina.
We are, but this is where maybe some contention comes. Pool D,
Mm.
we've got Australia, Wales, Georgia,
Wales?
Fiji, and Uruguay.
And I'm a
And I'm a girl.
I'm a squirrel.
No, so-
Terrible joke. Sorry if you
That's a
tune
great
out now.
joke.
I will not blame you at all.
That's a great joke.
Wales have just been rocked by some massive news during the week.
What is it?
Assistant coach Rob Howley. He's been caught up in some, they're saying betting, but some off-field allegations to the point where he's had to leave the World Cup. He's been the assistant coach in Wales since 2008.
Jeez.
So for him to just be, yanked out of that
It's a
squad,
massive loss.
that's a massive loss. He's their
Mm.
attacking coach, so how does
Oof.
that change how they play? Do they play, more flamboyant? Do they play conservative? Or do they not change the thing? I don't know. He's there to do a job, and he's not there anymore. So,
Have they got a replacement?
not that I've heard of yet. And can you get
That is bad time. That is the definition of
I
bad
think that's
timing,
almost
isn't it?
better than having a new person come in
Well,
and try and install a new system.
Can you get a replacement, the day of the World Cup? It's literally the World Cup
Ask Lopetegui with Spain in the
in the Football World
Football
Cup.
World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think Fiji, they're also dangerous. Fiji are dangerous.
Yeah.
The Flying Fijians, they knocked Wales out of the 2007 Rugby World Cup.
Mm.
And that's, again, going back over a decade, but they're capable.
They're coming back.
Semi Radradra, all you rugby league fans, Gussy. Out there, he's been named on the left. He's been named out there on the left wing.
Yeah. Got some.
They're
They always have dangerous backs.
Got big boys.
Mike Acevo in the NRL. How's he going?
Mm.
Played 22 tries in the season.
Well,
Like the feed.
All right. We're not talking about the NRL. We're not talking about the NRL.
I'm just saying they produce some unbelievable talent.
So
No, they do.
So why aren't they playing for Fiji? Pull your head on World Rugby.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Give them the money.
Seriously.
Yeah, well.
Give me the money.
But they've also got Ben Volavola at fly half, which is important for Fiji.
That's a great name too.
It's a very good name.
Vola, vola.
You know, if I have a son, I'm not going to name him Volavola.
Vola Morton. That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
That's actually got a ring
He
to
might
it.
get a little bit of bullying, but
Little
no.
bit. Hey, Vola.
It's
No,
a
but
last name, so of course you're not.
he's also a very good fly half. He played a bit for I want to say the Rebels. He did play for the Rebels. Good player. Again, good player. But can he lead Fiji to a win over the Wallabies on Saturday?
Speaking of the Wallabies, boys, we haven't even touched them yet in this whole conversation, really.
Yeah.
Poey's back.
Well, they named the side.
Mhm.
Well,
David Pocock back in the squad.
Should they go with Pooper?
Hooper? No, I like Hooper.
I
reckon he's
disagree.
great.
I think
Pocock's
Pocock should start, and he should be the captain.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, interesting.
Although
Chuck
you're
captain.
throwing it
You can
back
play
in.
both of them.
Yeah, you can. That's the
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
Pooper.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're both open side flankers.
Yeah.
So you have to put Poey back at number 8, and that's awkward.
No, I
It's a
reckon
bit
he
awkward
can do it.
because they
He's
play.
played number 8 before.
He's
He
played
does.
plenty
He
of
plays.
times.
He plays a lot of 8, but they also play a very similar role.
Mm.
They love going in for a jackal.
Yeah.
They love
Yeah,
trying to.
they really do.
They
I
love
think
that
Pocock's
pilfer.
the best at that.
They love that pilfer.
Yeah, that's his strong.
Yeah.
That's his strong. So, and when we had Fraser McWright on the pod, that's who
Yeah.
his comparison
Yeah,
was, right?
I definitely feel comfortable having Pocock in that side. Probably, yeah, I'd have him start. I think I'd have
reckon
him
have him
starting
at
over
8.
Hooper.
I'd start him at 8 actually.
I would. No, I think what's going to happen is Pocock at 8 and Hooper at 7.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
But I don't think that's the
completely
right.
agree.
I don't necessarily think that's the right
I
call.
think he should play in his position.
You reckon he should play open side? Where would you chuck Hooper on the blind side?
I'd put him on the bench. I think he's.
No, you
Send him
can't.
back to Australia.
You can't. Who do you play on? Who's playing blind side?
It's a great question.
So
Probably
just chuck him on the blind side.
Tui. What's he? He's changed his name.
Yeah, just chuck him on the blind side. Like he's going to make more of an impact there and more than anyone else who's going to chuck there. Yeah, they play a similar
think-
role, but
Well,
Pocock can't be at every single breakdown. Right?
arguing over nothing though.
Right.
'Cause at the end of the day, even if Australia get out of the pool, I can't see them making it past the quarterfinal.
Nah, I don't have a lot of faith for them this year.
Georgia 2. Now I'm going to try and pronounce his name correctly. Mamuku Gogodzi. I heard it before. I heard it before.
That is perfect.
It wasn't quite, was it?
No. It was
There's a lot of
bang on.
tough to pronounce
It was
names there.
bang on.
Gogodzi.
Gogodze.
Gogodze.
He's a very good player. He
Gogodze.
actually retired. He retired and he's come out of retirement to play for Georgia at the Rugby World Cup.
Georgia.
Oh, the lock, yeah.
Rugby is their national sport. Did you know that?
Yes.
Rugby's
no,
their
I didn't
national
know
sport.
that, actually.
And he got man of the match when the Georgians played the All Blacks 4 years ago.
He's like their legendary kind of forward, isn't he?
I'm
Correct.
from Georgia.
Georgia.
not
wrong
quite,
Georgia. Atlanta, baby.
Let's go, Georgia.
So who do we think's topping that pool and who's coming second?
Australia.
Have you got Australia?
Number 1.
I've got Wales.
I've got Australia.
What have you got?
Yeah, Wales.
You got Wales at the top.
Wales, then Australia.
Ah.
I got
But-
Australia, then Wales.
But
Alright.
So we'll
Fiji,
see what happens.
Fiji will test the Wallabies this weekend.
So
Yeah.
we're going with Wales versus Australia. Majority rule. Sorry, Gussy, mate. I mean, I'm a 50-50 supporter. I'm half South
Yeah.
African, half Australian.
That's
so
not a thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's
I'm
not a thing.
literally half of each.
No, that's not a thing.
Yes, it is.
You pick one. Oh, I'll pick this one. But if this one wins, I'll go for that.
Yes, because I'm half South African
You
and
were
half
calling
Australian.
Me, you were
if
calling
they play
me
in a game together,
bandwagon before.
no. If they,
and-
I have reason to support both teams.
I'm 1/20th of every country at the World Cup.
I'm 1/20th.
Go on, boys.
I'm 1/20th Brisbane Strikers. Come on. Let's
No, you're not.
That's not funny,
no,
mate.
not. That's terrible.
All right.
Have a hike.
All right. So
It's gonna kill me.
can we talk some finals now?
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go
going to
through
talk
our
final
bracket.
stages.
Let's go through our bracket.
So we've got coming out in quarterfinal 1, England versus Australia. Then we've got New Zealand versus Scotland. Oh, wait. Do we agree Scotland were coming out?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And then we've got in quarterfinal 3, Wales versus Argentina. And then quarterfinal 4, Ireland versus South Africa.
Perfect.
Perfect. What do you reckon, boys? First one, we'll go England versus Australia. That's a tough game.
No, it's not. Not for the English.
Not for the English, no.
No,
Look,
that'll be a walk in the park, I reckon.
I don't know.
This won't really make sense when I tell you who I think my final's going to be. But
Yes.
there's only 3 teams who can win this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
England, South Africa, and the eventual champions, the All Blacks.
Eventual
think-
champion South Africa.
Well, we can debate that off here. England are a tier above Australia, man. They are down on... I wouldn't say they're down on confidence. They'll want to lift for that. But I think they'll do what they did against the All Blacks in Auckland. They'll try too hard.
Yes,
And-
I think so too.
Yeah.
It'll go south.
If
So,
I was saying off the performance on Perth against New Zealand,
that's that one.
I would say Australia for that.
That's once in a blue moon. It's once in a blue moon.
Exactly. It was more not a fluke, but a fluke.
And again, it's very important for England that they're fly half as well. I'm saying a lot of fly halves have to stay on the field, but they're like their quarterbacks, right? They're vital. Owen Farrell,
Yeah.
top 3 world players in the world again.
I'm expecting a big World Cup from Owen Farrell. I think he will be player of the competition, and I think England will go a long way.
That's a fair call.
Hold your horses, man. Hold your horses. But I will say this too. George Ford, he's their backup fly half.
Yep.
He's played a lot at 10, but man, he is not up to the level of Test rugby, or at least not to the level where he's going to guide England to a World Cup final.
No. I think a big part of why Australia beat New Zealand at Perth, at Optus, was a large part because that's not how we normally play.
It's the red card.
Traditionally.
Yeah.
It's the red card.
But it was the red card, but also we played a very different style of football to we usually do, right? We played a
Gave
lot
it
of
to the
running.
backs.
Nick White
Yeah, it was
was
brilliant.
running.
Yeah.
He was almost charging the forwards, which they didn't
Yeah.
expect from a halfback.
Well, that's another debate then. So who's starting 9 for the Wallabies?
I
Nick
think
White.
Nick White's
I
had
think
more
they-
success.
I think Genia. They're going to start Genia.
I reckon
They'll
he
have-
played the hot hand.
They'll have Nick White off the bench.
I'd go Nick White. I think he's been impressive. The real question for Australia is whether Christian Lealiifanu can stand up, and whether the backs can actually touch the ball.
Well,
Because when we see the
Yeah.
backs for Australia running the ball, it's a completely different game.
Our centres are so good.
yeah, but for the backs to touch the ball, they need a good fly half. In fact, they need a good halves pairing.
Yeah.
So I think for success, they need Genia at 9 and Foley at 10, or even maybe Tamura at 10. No one's talking him up, but Tamura is a very good fly half.
Interesting call.
Ever since he came back from the UK, he's a very good fly half.
Do you want to experiment in the group stages then against your Georges and your Fijis?
I think that's when you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Tamura's primarily an inside centre. And I think Checker, he'll look at all
Yep.
options. But he'll probably think, look, if I'm going to play Tamura, I'm playing him at 12. And that's not necessarily the right call when you got Jock and Karevi.
I was about to say, who was
Yeah.
playing inside? Was it Karevi? Oh, no. Or
Karevi.
Jock was playing outside.
Correct.
And then who do we have? Do we have Kurajani on the wings? Or no?
Koromoda-
Did we not?
Koromoda-
Were we not playing
Kuran
Kurajani?
Durrani, mate, he was an outside centre for the Wallabies 4 years ago.
Yeah, I know,
He
but
could be there.
he-
Unlikely.
did he make the squad or no?
I don't think so.
No.
No,
Okay.
no
Yeah,
they'll have
forget about it.
Corabetti on the wing and
Corabetti and probably
Hodge.
Luke Hodge.
Yeah.
Reece
Hodge.
Hodge.
Reece
Reece
Hodge.
Hodge. Not Luke Hodge.
I
not
don't.
Hodgie.
Yeah, Hodgie's come out of retirement from the Lions
To play for
and
the
gone to play
Wallabies.
for the Wallabies. I don't rate Reece Hodge very
Anyway,
much.
we're going through our bracket.
Yeah.
Quarterfinal 2.
One player who hasn't been capped in that team though, Jordan Patea. What do
Keep
we
going.
reckon?
Well, he's a great player. There are rumours that he might start against, well, not start, but he might play against Wales.
It might come off
Yeah.
the bench in the 60th.
Former state high boy.
I
So-
don't know. He's one of the. Is he the youngest? What is he? Is he the youngest
I think
Australian to
He'll be
play?
the youngest Australian to debut at a World Cup.
Debut.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That's
he's a very exciting talent, but he's very injury prone at the moment. I think he's been lined up for debuts about 3 times, and every time he's done his hamstring. He did that against Italy last year in Rome, and against Samoa the other week against Samoa in Sydney.
That's a really tough one. So who are we picking? England?
England,
I think they'll win.
then we can
comfortably.
brush over the next one. New Zealand will
Yeah,
get
New
the
Zealand will
business.
spank Scotland.
over Scotland.
Scotland have got no chance. Wales versus Argentina.
I think this one will be interesting.
It's a bit.
Look, Argentina know how to stick in a game. I think Wales will do the job, but I can expect some good stuff from Argentina. They're not going to give up lightly.
I think I agree with you there, Gussy. Argentina.
You reckon?
No, Argentina. They lift at World
yeah.
Cups. Like I said before,
Yeah.
they
Yes,
lift,
they do.
but they won't lift enough. Wales, very good side.
But yeah,
They
we're
would-
picking Wales there. I've got no doubt.
They'll get it done. But this
Ireland versus
Ooh,
South Africa. This is
this-
probably the other
yeah.
than the England Australia one. This is probably the round.
I still think this is
match
the
of the
pick.
round.
You know, if you
Yeah.
were unbiased, you lived on the moon and you weren't affiliated with any countries, you'd pick this as being the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
Because obviously, living in Australia, we're going to be a bit biased, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is the quarterfinal.
Yep.
And it's going the way of the box.
I reckon it is too. I can't disagree with that.
Ireland, of course you won't.
No.
Ireland, they can't.
They have a knack of getting knocked out in the quarterfinals.
I also think they don't have enough strength all around.
Again, if someone goes down injured, man, they are in a lot of
Squad's
trouble.
looking very thin. I think South Africa as well.
I think Ireland, they also peaked too early. They peaked a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And ever since then, they've been playing a bit of catch up. They beat the All Blacks in Dublin last year. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
But that was
a year ago though.
Again, that was their peak.
And that's a year ago.
Ever since then, they've dropped a bit. A few injuries here and there. Another injury, they're in a lot of trouble. So
indeed. All right, so we're moving on to the semi-final stage.
So
First match is
England versus New Zealand.
Wow.
And semi-final 2 is Wales versus South Africa.
I think we all know which way we're kind of looking at these.
See you in the final.
See you in the final, buddy.
Look,
All right.
I'm thinking England will get into the final. I know Finn will be filthy with me, but I think England are going to beat New Zealand and play South Africa in the final.
Why is that?
Look, I think
Super defensive from us. Why is that, huh?
Why is that?
Why is that, huh?
I think it's
Taking
England's
Bill and I'm
time.
going home.
I think it's England's
I'll take
time.
it.
I think Owen Farrell's really going to stand up in this World Cup, and I
You'd
think
hope so, otherwise you
I
won't
think-
be able
I
to
think-
play.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
That's a really good joke.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Funny guy Campbell. I don't know.
Bazinga.
There's a little bit there.
Bazinga, cheers.
Mate,
I think he'll take them.
he
all the
hasn't had
way.
this pressure.
It's coming home, boys.
It's not coming
home.
England can't win World Cups. They can't win World Cups.
Well, now's the time to change that.
Really? That didn't. that was your moment to reference a World Cup.
What do you mean?
They've won one.
Who did they win? What did they win?
World Cup.
No, I'm talking. Never mind. I was talking
Do
about
you
the
mean-
cricket.
Who did they win?
I said they
Ah.
can't. They can't win. They can't win World Cups. They beat New Zealand the other month.
See, it's not funny when you
No,
have to
they didn't.
explain it.
Yeah,
Although
no,
it's
they
our
didn't.
fault.
They
for not getting
tied.
it. They did tie.
Anyway, moving on.
They might chuck some Mentos on the ball. That
New
might-
Zealand's
Good.
again. New Zealand's
Panasa.
New Zealand's depth. That's going to be huge.
Yeah,
and I think,
that's the biggest reason why I think will win
They've-
the competition.
and I think they've thought up some strategies to combat rush defense. Rush defense has been a big thing in the Northern Hemisphere and from the Springboks,
Mm-hmm.
and it hasn't worked the last 6 months when they've tried combating it. It will this
reckon?
World Cup. It will this World Cup. It's going to click. Mwanga and Barrett, that's really going to click.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for New Zealand is they have options. If something's not working, if Mwanga's not working, problem solved.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I think will ultimately, and you're talking about depth, I think that's the thing that will ultimately, I'm not going to spoil it, but maybe win them the competition, is that they do have that depth.
Go on, say it, and we'll come back to it soon.
So in the second final,
No,
moving on.
Look, Steve Hansen, he was talking. So when he named his match day 23 to play South Africa in the group stage, he talked about how this isn't necessarily our best team. This is just our best team for this match,
Interesting.
and that's important.
That's
because,
great.
and that's what you don't get with other teams. Teams like South Africa, if they're playing against New Zealand, they're playing their best players.
Yes.
But New Zealand, they're a squad. Squads win World Cups.
Mm-hmm.
Teams win matches.
Yep.
That's why New Zealand will win the World Cup.
That's a nice quote.
That is a very nice quote. That
That
was
is
good.
Put that on a postcard or something.
Squads win World Cups, teams win matches.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I'm copywriting that.
Other way around, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Teams win matches, squads wins.
That's why I said it
Yeah.
and he stuffed it up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, we got Wales versus South Africa in the
Just
second
the
semi-final. What do you reckon? This one's probably tighter, I'd say. Depends.
South Africa got it done over the Welsh 4 years ago, and it'll be something similar
I agree.
in semi-final too.
Maybe biased from me,
Again,
but
Wales, man, they don't have depth.
I don't think
they
they
don't-
have depth either.
They can't deal with this pressure. South Africa, I think they can just deal with it better, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's going to win them the game.
yeah, too
Definitely.
much firepower for South
Definitely.
Africa, too much quality.
All right.
Van Meulen at number 8.
Mullen. So good.
He is just, he's a menace. And South Africa, Wales can't combat that.
Definitely not. But we've
You
got a rematch.
Imagine when
in the
he's
final.
imagine when he's running at Lee Halfpenny. That's good luck, Lee.
Lee.
Good luck.
You're done. We're into the final
We're
now.
into the final.
Okay, so you
about
two
it.
agree that South Africa and New Zealand are going to play in the
Yes,
final.
you think
I'm
England.
thinking England and South Africa.
That's just
So
because
we-
It's funny because you're wrong.
Yeah, you've seen into the future, are we?
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just wait and see.
So we will see.
I will say I think that if that England-New Zealand final comes to be, that will be very close.
Yes.
Like New Zealand only beat South Africa by about 3 or 4 the other year. 4 years ago.
Mm.
It'll be a very similar tale in the semi-final. Again, hypothetical final. But Yeah, I think New Zealand just have the squad, mate. So I really don't know where you're coming from. I think you're just an optimistic leaguey who's going, look, by then, the Storm would have beaten the Roosters.
Yeah.
I would be angry and I want Finn to be depressed like me.
Well, firstly, Parramatta are going to beat the Storm, so the Storm won't even play the Roosters. So that doesn't matter.
At least the Strikers are going to win the FFA Cup.
Yeah, look,
It's coming home.
I might just be a little bit bitter that New Zealand keep on winning. And maybe I just want a little bit of change. Ever thought of that, Finn? Bit of change?
Well, it's not like they're cheating.
No, I know. It's just kind of like you want to see another side go all the way and win one for once.
Actually, I forgot to mention this. In the pool game between New Zealand and South Africa, we are jumping around a lot at the moment.
We are. We're all over the place.
The referee, I don't mind the French people. They're just not very good referees.
Is it this guy?
It's Mr. Bean.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
It's not the one who messed us up in the Lions series a few years ago, but he's
lucky.
He's not very good.
No.
He's one of those guys who just like, I'm at the World Cup. Let's make it about me, but I'm the referee. Doesn't make sense.
No.
Anyway, finals footy, grand final, huge ceremony, fireworks, anthems, few tears. Who's lifting the bill?
Look, I want to say with my heart, South Africa, but I mean, it depends. We can't really tell.
Go on.
We're not going to be able to tell, obviously, till the comp starts.
No,
but
go on.
Yep.
Say it.
It's going to be New Zealand.
Sorry?
It's going to be New Zealand.
One more time.
It's going to be.
That's my new ringtone.
It's going to be New Zealand.
Well, I think it's going to be England.
Oh, again, you're wrong.
Well, say England do beat the All Blacks, touch wood. But
Touch plastic. That's not.
Well, they don't know that. Oh,
No, there's a good bit of plywood under
Yeah, it's plywood. I'm touching the plastic.
I'm touching the wood.
Right, can we stop?
Anyway,
Knock on wood if you're with me.
no, I
It's a
don't.
John Gruden reference.
Even if England beat the All Blacks, they're not going to beat South Africa. They can't do that with a 6-day turnaround. That's not happening. They're not beating those two teams in back-to-back weeks. To be fair, if they can do it, they deserve to win the World Cup. But I can't see it happening. So
Looks unlikely, my friend.
Gussy, who's your young player of the tournament? Your player of the tournament?
We need to say it. We think New Zealand will win the World Cup.
One more time.
We think New Zealand will win the World Cup.
Well,
We know New Zealand will win the World Cup.
I don't think so, but anyway, you guys can live in dreamland.
So
we're in dreamland.
we're all in agreement. New Zealand will win the World Cup.
Yes.
All right, what were you saying? Young player?
So who's your young player, your player of the tournament, and your
Our qualifier for this.
top try scorer?
Okay.
We're doing those two. Our qualifier for young player of the tournament is under 22. 22 and under.
Well, I was going to go with Jordan Patea from the Wallabies.
It's a pretty safe bet.
Yep, pretty safe bet.
If he plays.
Yeah,
he will play. He's
talked about him before. Former Brisbane State High School student. I think he'll get a couple games, but I think he'll impress. He's looked like a good player coming through the ranks.
He was dangerous for country last year in the NRC.
Yeah.
And even when he was playing Super Rugby, I remember 19-year-old or 18-year-old at the time, Jordan Patea is debuting for the Reds. Hope he does well. But then he started really impressing to the point where he's a starter now. And if he didn't get injured, he would have been starting for the whole season.
He's such an electric talent, isn't he?
He is. He's very quick, very strong, very big. He's actually quite tall.
Yeah. What year did he graduate again?
Our year.
He did it.
Jeez. He's offered a
forget
World
about
Cup.
that.
What am I doing?
This is, mate, you're making a amateur podcast.
Yeah.
Not a very good one,
Look
but I mean...
who's winning,
that's what amateur.
Jordan.
Okay, so
Look who's winning.
You think Patea...
I just said
Campbell?
Sevu Reece.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he really impressed in the recent games I've seen, which is ultimately form is should carry on into the World Cup.
Because Tonga are a very good opposition.
They're massive. I mean, I wasn't really looking at that. I was thinking more against the Bledisloe.
Well, you can even build on that and look at his Super Rugby form.
Yes.
It helps when you're being slotted into a Crusaders team who are eventual three-peat champions. But, I mean, he still played very well for them. I think he was top try scorer in Super Rugby this year. So,
I mean, he's a pretty safe bet.
He's a safe bet.
Because he'll play, and he'll play well.
Well, if we're speaking about safe bets, I'm going to go with something a bit left field.
Mm-hmm.
Not as safe this bet, so I'm not going to put money on it. Tom Curry.
He was my next kind of bet.
Who is he?
He's an English forward.
Good on you. Jeez, okay, I wasn't expecting that.
I'll finish up for today. That's all I need to say.
No, return served well. Good on you, Campbell.
Cheers.
Sit back down, mate.
All right, I'll sit down.
Tom Curry. I've seen him play for England a few times, on TV, and he's very good. Very good at the breakdown, very physical, quite quick, very strong. So
he'll be one to watch.
He will be. And again, if England go deep and if Gussy, like Gussy thinks, if they win the World Cup, he'll have to be a big part of that. So
yeah.
you think they'll win the World Cup?
Well, yeah. I
You're
think
making me feel nervous now, mate. I can't. I've grown up as an All Blacks fan.
I've got a gut feeling that they're gonna do it.
You're an Aussie. You can't go for England.
Yeah, I know I can't, but like if I was gonna go for England or New Zealand, I'd go for England.
I think Eddie Jones's teams though, they always fall short.
Mm.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I mean, he is on. Yeah.
Again,
I don't know.
We'll find out.
like I was saying, I've grown up as an All Blacks fan. I said it again.
Flan?
I said Flan again.
Did you do it again?
I did.
Oh my god.
Do it once, it's an accident. Do it twice, you're an idiot, eh?
Yeah.
Flan?
Grown up as an All Blacks fan, so I'm used to winning. I'm not used to rejection. I'm not used to loss. I'm not used to disappointment, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't handle that.
You're spoiled.
Yeah, tough
I
life.
know I am. It's
Tough life winning.
It's tough being a Hurricanes, All Blacks, Patriots, Liverpool fan.
Phoenix. Got Phoenix.
The Phoenix, of course.
Do you say Warriors?
We don't talk about the Warriors. Moving on.
That negates the rest of them.
Yeah, you're a Strikers fan too, mate. You didn't.
It's through and through, mate.
And
Because I actually go to their games.
Yeah, me too.
Should we play that footage back? No.
Yeah, no.
No, we'll keep going.
All right.
Actually, let's go top try scorer.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce his name very well. Sabisu Gussy,
Oh,
the South African winger.
South African winger is quite good.
If South Africa are going to
Subasiso.
go a long way in this competition,
Gussy.
like most people think, I think he'll be playing an important part, scoring a lot of tries for South Africa, finishing off a lot of backline moves.
I get
well,
that.
if he was scoring a lot of tries, that would put him as top try scorer.
Yeah, you think so, wouldn't it?
Another very good statement by Gussy.
Mm.
No,
How's that? Oh, come on. That's
I think he's
that's a bit
dangerous,
rich.
but I think he's not my pick. But I think Colby on the other wing, he
Yeah?
is
Okay.
probably more dangerous in my opinion. He's very small, very quick, and he, to all of the All Blacks, a new one
Yeah.
in Wellington
Look,
2 months ago.
I was looking at Nkosi as well, but I've gone with Bowden Barrett here.
Really?
But I was thinking Sevu Reece. I don't know. From fullback, it might be a bit tough.
So you're
but
going with the fullback. He's not gonna. Keep in mind, he's not gonna play in against Canada.
that's true,
and
actually.
stuff.
That's true. Maybe, okay, I'll change it then.
No, you've.
No,
keep
no,
going.
I'll
Mate,
change
you've
it.
made
No,
your
no,
pick.
you brought up a good point there.
Very good point.
So,
Rebuttal.
I said Sevu Reece is the young player to watch.
Okay, so you're gonna double up.
I'm going to double up because
Coward.
getting top try scorer, I'll go with him as player of the tournament too. If he's going to go top try scorer, then he's definitely going to win. Like, he's definitely going to win young player. If that is the case, obviously. But yeah, no, I think
Well,
you
back yourself,
brought
mate.
up but you brought up a good point there though.
Thank you.
I think Bowden Barrett is one of the best players in the world, obviously. This is no kind of hot take. But I think, yeah, he is playing fullback and he is kind of... He won't play against those kind of smaller teams, which I think a young player like Sevu Reece might.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be that effective in fullback. I don't know if he'll play a lot of part in scoring the tries
Yeah.
as much as setting them up.
Again, you guys are. Well, you kind of just mentioned it. Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, he
You're
does
thinking
set up
about
a
him
lot.
like a. You're thinking about him like a fullback.
Yeah,
But that's not what he is. Even though he's got the 15 on his back.
Playmaker.
he is more of a playmaker.
Gussy, it's kind of like your game,
Yeah.
not sport. Game, league.
Well, think James Tedesco.
Jeez, joke just straight
Yeah,
over
I
his
got
head.
it. I got it.
Thanks, mate. There's a bit of a
Think,
chuckle from your end. So
Yeah. All right. Be quiet.
Oh, look at him.
Think of someone like James Tedesco. He's a great fullback, great runner of the ball, but also a great passer. You've also got to have that.
Well, I think the better example is
What is it? The game awareness, the intelligence, positional stuff, all of that. It's all really.
I think the
important
better
for a fullback.
example, or at least how the All Blacks are trying to play, is a 5/8 and a halfback in league.
Yeah.
Not quite left-right,
Mm-hmm.
no playmakers, but that's pretty much how they're going to play.
I think so
and
too.
they're gonna tire South Africa out. They're a big pack.
Yeah.
So if you're spreading the ball 70 meters right to left,
Yeah.
man, they can't keep up with that. Anyway, my top try scorer will be George Bridge. He scored 4 tries against Tonga, and I mean, if you can score 4 tries against Tonga, you can score 4 tries against practically anyone. So enough said.
Big statement.
Enough said.
That's fair enough.
That is fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem, mate. You're all right.
Not a problem.
No problem. Yeah, not a problem, mate.
Now, player of the tournament. Does the player of the tournament have to be of the winning team? I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
Anyway,
No.
Gussie, you want to kick us off?
I've got Owen Farrell. If England are gonna win this, they need Owen Farrell. He's an integral part of their side. And yeah, I think I think England are going to win it, and I think Owen Farrell's going to take out player of the tournament.
Fair enough.
So,
I've got a dark horse here.
Bit of a smoky.
Our boy.
Schmooky.
Bon Scott.
No, not Bon Scott. Your boy, the Giant Slayer, Faffy boy, Faf de Klerk. I don't know. I just think he may have a good tournament. I think if South Africa go all the way, he's going to play more games than other players.
Yeah.
I think he's very integral to the kind of transition between, obviously being a halfback, between the forwards and the backs. And I think that'll be integral to get it in the hands of those backs that South Africa have. I think the forward, my other pick was probably like Malcolm Marx, but I don't know how much of a hooker. I don't think really a hooker's going to win.
He'll score a lot of tries off driving more.
Yes.
You know, he could score 2 tries a game.
Yep, exactly.
But is that enough to win you player of the tournament? It's very rare that a hooker or a front rower wins a individual accolade.
Yeah.
It's not common. That's why I've gone for the halves partner of Faf, Andre Pollard. Again, I said it before, I'll say it again. Best player on the planet right now.
Yep. It's between those two.
And he's the most important player for a team to win the World Cup. Again, if he's down, South Africa can't win the World Cup. And that if he's out, they'll get snotted by Wales.
Yeah, it's going to be such a tough tournament. I mean, yeah, we've picked New Zealand. I hope South Africa will win.
No, you don't.
I don't hope South Africa will win. Oh, sorry. No. Okay, now I don't. Thanks. Now New Zealand is... I hope New Zealand's going to win.
You've got a black jersey underneath that
I
shirt.
hope...
Surely.
I do have a black
hope
T-shirt.
Australia wins. For the sake of all of us, I hope Australia wins.
Yes, I hope so too.
Set more realistic goals. I hope they get out of the group.
Come on, get out of the group.
That's a bit rude.
They won't get any further, but they'll get out of the group.
Yeah.
They might make a sneaky quarterfinal, but
anyway,
maybe a semi.
So we're all in agreement.
They might be stretching a bit far.
So we're all in agreement. All in agreement. New Zealand will win the 2019 Rugby World Cup. You've heard it here.
What?
First.
No.
Oh, what a hot take. New Zealand's going to win the World Cup. Oh, my God. Who would have thunk it?
It is the most... Who would have thunk it? It's the most open Rugby World Cup ever.
This is true.
New Zealand is second in the world, as Gussy kept referencing before.
Yes. It's an important fact.
It's not, mate. Oh, it is such a
non-issue.
Deuce.
You are number 2.
Anyway, we've done the talking. Now it's up to the players, right? To do the talking
it is indeed.
on
We're
the
so
field.
keen for this World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot
it's
wait.
Easter, boys.
It's Easter. Welcome back to the St. Lucia Lookout. Boys, cheers to that interview, especially you, Gussy. Thanks for your expert analysis.
Oh, I am an expert, aren't I?
Mate, you came out with some great comments there.
So, Campbell, just to reiterate, Russia will not be a powerhouse at the Rugby World Cup 2019.
Are they a smoky? Definitely not.
Definitely a smoky.
Definitely a smoky.
Look, I'd have to disagree, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think Owen Farrell's going to be very important to England.
See, that's a good point I brought up. Owen Farrell's importance.
But he's their best player.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So I wasn't all wrong, Finn.
Nah, all good though, Gussy, because we'll speak about a bit of league soon. That'll bring a smile to your face.
You're itching like an addict over there. Just be like, oh, give me the league. Give me the league.
I think he's just bitter that I decided that the All Blacks wouldn't get through to the final and win it.
He decided. That means it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. He's the octopus from the 2010.
What Gussy says goes.
I'm pretty much God.
Someone take that out of context,
I'm
please.
great at my predictions, and I don't see
what
the
else
All Blacks
have you predicted?
Just general
lots
life
of things. Oh, he landed a good multi the other day. Did you? No.
That's depressing. Anyway. Do you want to get onto some league, Gussy?
Yeah, let's talk about.
You look like you're having a bit of
withdrawal.
League. You're getting withdrawal symptoms.
Rugby league.
I could hear you try and sneak it in when we were talking about union. You were like, Fijian player.
He started talking about the Fijian wingers, right? He's like, Semi Raja, Parramatta Eels. What a superstar. Rugby league greatest game on the planet.
Game.
Yeah.
Game on the planet.
Game.
Well,
no,
it's a sport. But
not like pole dancing and foot golf, which are sports.
Or chess. Am I able to talk about the league yet? Or are we just going to carry on? All right. The second week of finals are done and dusted, boys.
Jeez, you sound thrilled by this.
QRL action. It's always thrilling. The season is now finished for the Redcliffe Dolphins and the Eastern Suburbs Tigers.
So the Dolphins can't go back to back now?
No, they are out.
Because, Campbell, that's what happens when you get knocked out.
Yeah.
You can't win.
This is an observation and a half.
Okay, Wynnum beat the Dolphins. They held on to beat them 20 points to 16. And the Falcons snapped back into form, continuing their winning streak. Now, they've only lost 2 games this season, beating Eastern Suburbs Tigers at home.
The Tigers, they troubled them, though.
They did. It wasn't an easy win. They pushed them right to the end. I think a late try, 73rd minute, I think it was.
It was a 90-metre. I think it was a knock-on to one of the East Tigers players, and one of the Sunny Coast players went the distance, so coast to coast.
So now the Falcons take on the Bears at Pizzey Park.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we saw this...
Perry Park?
Nothing compares to Perry Park.
We saw
the
this...
Fortress.
The Fortress.
We saw this
Solid
matchup
hill.
in the last round of the regular season, and the Falcons ran away with it. So maybe the same result is going to happen in the prelim. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens.
Well, make a call, mate. What's going to happen?
I think the Bears are going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the Bears will get up over the Falcons?
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
That is a very hot take.
Yeah.
See, that's a good pick for me, Gussy.
Good observation.
Look, that's just my prediction.
Yeah.
That would be
and
huge.
my predictions.
That would be massive.
That would be...
Even.
There we go. We didn't ever guess this week, but we
No.
still used massive.
Yeah. What have you thought about the Falcons this final series?
Look, I think they've saved some losses for the final series. I think
Is that
they've run out of energy. It's tough to go undefeated in a season or nearly undefeated. They've only lost 1 game, drew 1. I mean, they're saving some loss for the end of the season, which is unfortunate for them, I reckon. But
what do you mean by that, Gussy? Saving losses for the end of the season?
I mean, you kind of...
Because I joked about it last week, saying maybe they saved that loss up to make the final series more exciting. But are you serious about that?
Well, I don't know. When you win or when you finish first by so many points as the Falcons did, I don't know if they've gotten complacent or it seems like from that first week of the finals, it seems like they were complacent and they got punished for it by the Blackhawks. Speaking of the Blackhawks, they take on Wynnum in another great game. Real blockbuster.
They've been really good this final series.
Yeah, Wynnum have a
hot take that one.
Hot take, you know.
Wynnum have been a bit underrated by us. We haven't really talked a lot about Wynnum. They finished second. They've been a strong outfit all year. I can expect big things from them in this game. In the NRL, the Roosters absolutely smashed Souths. Love that. Absolutely brilliant. The Raiders got another win against the Storm in Melbourne.
That was a firework of a game.
John Bateman, absolute firework of a game.
Is that a good thing?
I'll be here all
Is that a
week,
good
guys.
thing though, mate? Now you're a Roosters fan, I think. He said that a few times, right?
I don't know.
He's
I
touched
think he's
on
a Chooks fan,
it.
actually.
Chooks fan. He's born in Canberra, so I think he's a Raiders fan.
No,
Who knows?
That
He's a bandwagoner.
That makes
so-
sense. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not a...
exactly.
Chase the
God.
money, mate. Chase
Yeah,
the money.
exactly.
No. Okay, well...
The salary cap
No.
sombrero.
No, it's called signing players when they're worth that amount and then letting them go when they ask for contract upgrades.
And meeting
It's
them
called smart business.
Moneyball,
And the
baby.
Warriors don't understand it. They sign people like buddy Cody Nikorima for $1 million or whatever they're signing for. I don't know. They're insane. Anyway, the
that's
Seagulls beat the Sharks again. Like, the Sharks are just hopeless. They continued their hopeless run of form this year. ScoMo would not be pleased.
No, he's not.
Well, he's fleeing the country. He's off to see Trump, so I think he's separating himself from rugby league.
Yeah.
And
He'd be very disappointed with
Gussy, can you say honestly that he wouldn't be in Australia still if the Sharkies didn't get knocked out? The safety,
I think
the
that's a key
safety
part
and
of it.
defence of this nation can wait if
Yeah.
it means the
They'd
Sharkies are
be-
playing in the prelim.
Yeah, they'd be playing tonight. So yeah, I reckon he might have pushed it back a couple of days to see his Sharkies.
Definitely.
The big result of the weekend was the Broncos suffering their worst ever finals defeat.
Yeah, talking about disappointing.
Losing to the Parramatta Eels 58-0 at Bankwest Stadium.
But good news, the boys got on the pits the night before.
They didn't though.
No, apparently they did. They
Didn't, okay.
they got on the pokies the night before.
Yeah, they got
Playing
some
a-
good. They got some good free spins and thought we'll stay
Yeah.
here till 1 a.m.
I think they must have been playing Dragon Link It's addicting. Like as soon
Who
as
can
you
blame them, really?
as soon as you get on Dragon Link, you just can't leave. You put $5 in, 5-cent bets, and you're there till 3 a.m. in the morning.
So on that, so by now everyone would have heard about that, about the Broncos and the falling out there.
Yes.
But just in case you haven't, there were 6 players out playing pokies at 11 p.m. the night before the game.
We're not going to name them.
We're not going to name them,
but they are key members of the squad. Some younger players as well.
Yeah. It says a lot about their culture.
That's
and
the
I
biggest
think
thing.
things really need to change at that club.
Well, the thing though, they didn't actually break curfew.
No, they
didn't break curfew, and they weren't out drinking.
That's an issue because
So
the Broncos need to have a
Is
curfew.
there a problem?
That's a massive problem. Massive problem. If you don't have a curfew the night before a finals game, that's just silly.
Well, they trust the players to do the right thing.
They're adults.
And they're young people. They're like 23, 24-year-olds. There were some older ones, but they're 24-year-olds. They've had money since they were 18.
There should be some common sense there that tells them
they're
it's the night before the most important game of the season.
Yes.
I shouldn't be going to the pokies at 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 a.m.
Mate, it was
shouldn't be happening.
Harpoon Harry's, mate, on a Friday night. Can't blame it.
If you devote yourself to a sport, if you're an athlete and you train every day for that sport, surely the day before a finals you're going, I'm getting my 8 hours.
Yep.
I'm getting up at
more.
I'm getting up at 7 for the team breakfast. I'm preparing well, and they just haven't done that.
Sleep is so important to sports players. You know what Real Madrid and all the big clubs do in Europe? They actually transport the bedding of the players, mattress included.
Really?
All the bedding, pillows. They transport it if they go in the Champions League. They transport it if they're going to play in Spain or if they're going to go play in another city. They bring that. That's how important.
I've heard about that.
That's how important.
They even get their
is.
names embroidered on their stuff, like all their
all their
pillows and stuff. Yeah.
So they might not have broken any rules, but they should have. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
There should have been rules that should have been implemented by the Broncos. Is it issue by Anthony Seabolt?
Yeah.
Does it come back on him? And
but
has he lost the locker room?
I think after that, I think he may have.
Yeah.
He's also, if you watch the press conference, he didn't want to apologise at all for the performance.
No.
Some people have said he probably should. I thought the Broncos were a top 4 side this year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to make it into the top 4, and I think he's got something to say about that because the team. I haven't seen a Broncos side look this bad in a long time.
They were dismal.
Yeah, their premiership drought now extends to a 13th year.
The issue for the Broncos though is they signed Seabolt to a 5-year contract. They got rid of Wayne Bennett, the greatest coach in NRL history. Trying to bring in a coach who's only coached 1 year in the NRL, and well, they look like absolute gooses now.
Yeah.
And Finn, you and I were talking about this earlier. We were saying why Wayne Bennett is such an excellent coach, why he is the best, is because he wins the locker room and people want to play for him. Do you think that's a problem with Seabolt not winning the locker room and they're going, can't be bothered. I'm not gonna win for Wayne Bennett for Anthony Seabolt.
I also think that a lot of Wayne Bennett's styles and how he coaches is still instilled in the Broncos. So I think Anthony Seabolt coaches in a different way. So he's got to. I think it'll take time. But yeah, it's not good enough.
You're
right
coaching
now.
a young team. You shouldn't be bringing in a coach who's so inexperienced and expecting him to have a team succeed immediately. That being said, he's not the guy going forward, or at least I don't think he should be.
Do you reckon he stays on for his 5 years?
I think he'll be around 2 more years.
Yeah, wow.
Maybe 1 more year, but I don't see him seeing out his contract. Because that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
How often do coaches in the NRL see out their contracts?
There's a little bit of a coaching carousel that goes on.
There is.
Yeah.
It's a bit of,
but
bit of a
we
farce.
brushed over, when we were talking about the Blackhawks, we need to give a congratulations to Tom Gilbert. He got the Mendy Blackhawks Player of the Season, basically. He got the Player of the Year, So
brilliant.
Our guy, good work.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tom. And all the Blackhawks we've said have been actually quite surprising. We didn't really back them that much.
I didn't have them beating the Falcons in the first round of the finals.
I don't think many people
Nobody did.
No,
but that's great for Tom. Is he ready to take that next step? I guess not to put pressure on him or put the monkey on his back, but He'll find out next year.
Certainly hope so. We had the NEFL finish up on the weekend. We saw the Lions play Southport at Southport, with the Lions having to drop a few players, which was unfortunate, just because of the competitive nature of the competition and rules that are instilled by the league.
That's a joke too. It really is.
It's an absolute joke. How do you play all season and they go, no, you can't play the game? Because they don't get the medal either.
Exactly.
Yeah, as a player,
you don't get a medal unless you play on the day.
As a player, that would be such a bad feeling, knowing you've worked so hard all year to not play in the most important game of the year.
Everyone knows they're going to win anyway.
Yeah.
They won by 60 points.
Yeah.
Plus
it's not even
75.
that, mate. Sport's about competition, and it's about beating the best players. But it would be the AFL, wouldn't it, who are controlling that league?
Yes.
They're now trying to favour these lesser clubs so the academies can't, train their players properly. So we had people like Connor. Sadly, he missed out. And it's a bit of a joke, just to make things fairer. And I said it last week, sport's not about giving everyone a fair go. It's not about it being even. That's not what sport is.
No, it's competitive.
It's not a level playing field,
Yeah, you got to provide funding and convince players why they should play.
You should.
Well, a lot of the other teams have players like, so for instance, top scorer in the NEFL, Matt Hamilman, was playing for Redland Bombers. He's a former AFL player.
Yep.
That's who a lot of the players are former AFL players, former VFL players, SANFL players, who aren't getting enough game time, move to the NEFL. But they are few and far between because coaching levels, all these kind of things aren't as good in Queensland. And, I mean, that's fair enough. Like, that's pretty well-known knowledge.
Yep.
But you know what? The Academy boys did a great job. End of the day.
Yeah.
Academy boys came in and stood up. Ben Keys had a great game. A lot of players had a great game. Cedric Cox had a good game. But, they just walked all over Southport in that one. I was watching it.
Yeah.
The big takeaway is obviously their undefeated season, which is incredibly rare in top flight level AFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. And
that's made news as well. I've seen it scrolling through Fox Sports, stuff like that. This unbelievable season that they've had.
I think a big part of it is the fact that and this is a big part of why the Lions have had such a good year, is injuries.
Yeah.
They've got one injured player on the whole roster this whole year, so they can play. That's a big part of the reason why maybe Gold Coast and maybe GWS and those other AFL sides, Sydney, in the NEFL, haven't maybe done as well as we think they should, is because of injuries. Because they've had to put players up into the other ones.
There's definitely still quality in that Brisbane Lions outfit.
Oh, definitely.
They've just... Yeah.
Well, it's because
I feel like even with injuries, they still probably would have done... Might not have gotten undefeated, but they still would have taken it out, I think.
Definitely.
And what about Matty Eagles?
Yeah, he got player of the game.
Got player of the game. And going off what Connor was saying, it's a great story for Matty Eagles. He trained his ass off.
He really did.
He did it bluntly.
It shows hard work pays off, really.
He's a rookie at 28.
Yeah.
And he's made caps in the senior side. He probably would have played more this season if he hadn't been injured at the start of the season and last season.
That's just a bloke who loves his footy, though. And he loves playing it, and he wants to be the best he can be.
He does.
So
and
I
you've
think
got to admire it.
He'll have that opportunity next year to play AFL football again. But I think he's great season for him. And
he'd be the first offender to step up into the AFL when someone goes down.
And
that's the thing. Or Hodgie.
You wouldn't have seen that 12 months ago.
Exactly.
True. Hodgie's gone.
Hodgie's gone, so
he's probably straight up.
He'll be groomed for that role.
Will he? Or will
they might try and get someone younger in
at the draft? They might take a defender with their first pick.
You do want some experience in
what
there.
Is he?
There's not a whole lot.
He's 28, isn't he?
28, yeah.
That's not too old.
Oh.
You need a little bit of experience. I mean, I can't say he's experienced at AFL level.
Exactly. There's a difference between being older and having experience.
Yeah, but you still, as a 28-year-old, you still have more smarts than a young guy, 21-year-old.
Speaking about the Lions, I was at the game on the weekend, which was cool. I wish my dogs were playing, but less said about that, the better. We saw Toby Green. Obviously, we spoke about this earlier today, but Toby Green actually has appealed his suspension. He's just a grub.
It was unsuccessful too.
It was unsuccessful.
So he will miss the Giants Collingwood match at the G this weekend.
Yes.
That's such a big loss for the Giants. They
They don't deserve it. I know you're a fan, but
I think eye
hate
gouging
them.
is the grubbiest
Yeah.
play, like the grubbiest thing to do in
it's
any
not why
sport.
he even got banned though. Because he eye gouged Marcus Bontempelli the week before, went to tribunal, only got $7,500 fine, and then he just put his hand in Lachie Neale's face and got a 1-match ban. Then he appealed it unsuccessfully. But I think that's more of just like the AFL going, oh no, people haven't really liked the decision we've made.
Well, no, it's
Let's just
we
give him a ban.
can't get him off again. I think that's the same with to take it back to league again. I think it's the same with Jared Reary-Hargraves. But this is like judiciaries overall.
I think
Yes.
that's
They seem
it's
to
completely different. It's
What do
completely
you
different.
mean?
Toby Green, he's done the same thing 2
It's-
weeks in a row,
we-
pretty much.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
done
I-
it for years.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
such a dog act. It's so juvenile.
There's a rule that has been placed in the rule book because of him, which Jack Rewalt was having a sook about, is
What's-
the kicking off.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
when...
true.
So,
Oh,
Jack
yeah,
Rewalt
okay.
was having a big cry about this in a game earlier this year because when you go up to mark a ball, Toby Green would always kick off intentionally to injure players.
Jeez.
Now there's a rule that you can't use your feet.
I don't think he was doing it to injure players, but I think he was
I don't
doing it
know.
to get the advantage of uncontested mark.
I think it's a bit of both. He's just a grub and he doesn't care. He will show no remorse in any press conference.
Like you said, I am a Giants fan, but yeah, he should be off.
Yeah.
Because doing that 2 weeks in a row, it's a privilege to play AFL football,
Yes.
and you haven't earned that.
There's a lot of grubby players that you can go, oh, you hate him, but you'd love to have him on your team. I don't think he's one of those players.
Well,
I think he's just a grub.
I said before that I think eye gouging should be like an 8-week.
I think it should be a red card. You can get a red card in AFL.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Well, I
just
don't
never
know.
happens.
I don't know about the red card on field. I do think though that they should miss a lot of footy
You should get ejected.
because it needs to be
should.
gone. It can't happen.
No.
Like
And
it's
it can
horrible.
cause serious
Yeah,
damage
exactly.
to someone. It's like,
Again, and that is the issue with fining players. If you fine someone $7,500, they're going to go, all right, that's a slap on the wrist.
Gonna
I might do that in 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'll get off again.
exactly. But that game, unfortunately, GWS obviously won that one. Very close game, very good game. We then saw the Cats play the Eagles. Not a real contest there.
Still an upset.
It's still an upset, but Geelong is showing some good stuff going into the finals.
Yeah, but they're going to be over this week. Hawkins is out.
Yeah, Tomahawk's out. They play Richmond as well, so Richmond are going to walk all over them, I reckon.
So-
I think they've not got enough strength at all.
A Richmond Pies finals. That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
That's
what
what's
the
gonna
people
happen.
Probably
want.
gonna have it.
It's definitely going to happen.
That's
I would
the-
put good money on that
The
happening.
two
Yeah.
most passionate fan bases in AFL.
Yeah.
I think so.
I'd say so, yeah.
With
yeah.
The Eagles a close third.
Nah,
No,
not even. Nah,
What about Geelong's
the Lions.
fans?
close it. Yeah, no.
What
the
about
the Giants? No,
What, Casper the Friendly Ghost?
What about that? What about that Geelong fan who dressed up as a cat?
He's crazy.
He's insane.
Bizarre.
He's a nutter. I love it, though. That's what you want from it, hey. But
Yeah.
anyway, the bigger one,
still, yeah.
we've got...
Well,
FA
we
Cup.
went to.
Finn
Okay.
and I went to.
I was up till 3 a.m. doing an assignment.
we don't want to
But
hear it.
I
Yeah,
have
don't hear your soft
have
story.
other commitments. Okay?
So do we, mate. You make time.
The door.
Make
The,
time.
Finn doesn't do anything.
This is your
other
job.
than
This is a good point, actually.
the door's behind you. No, but that FA Cup game was awesome. It was awesome. Great to see the Strikers get through, 3-2, and Moreland. They nearly got back in the end.
They did
They
nearly.
jagged one with 7 to go.
But I never really felt like they were in the game.
They started very well.
Yes, they
But
did.
then once the Strikers got the momentum back after about 10 minutes,
Mm,
it was all Strikers from there.
all strikers. But
Well,
fantastic.
Moreland have done quite well for a tier 2 Sydney side, haven't they?
Melbourne side.
Oh, are they Melbourne?
Yeah.
I thought they were Sydney.
No,
He's done his
I mean-
research.
I didn't even know where Moreland is.
mm.
But no, they've done very well to make it this far. I think they can be proud of their efforts.
Yeah, I think there was a few travellers as well, which
Yeah.
is crazy. They're basically a carbon copy of Juventus as well. Like their kit is the same, their badge is the same. It was really odd, but it was really a good game and lots of passion. And I think you need to buy your tickets in advance this week.
You do. $10 if you're a student, $20 if you're not. So
I'll try to get to this.
I'll
one.
try to get there.
Yeah, okay.
You never know. Plans might change.
So busy.
Go
Gus,
at-
so busy.
Go watch paint dry instead. No, but awesome for the strikers.
What you're doing?
They've become. I'll be in Japan.
Oh, Japan. I'm going to be in Japan.
Oh, rugby friends.
I'll send you a postcard. Anyway,
friends.
Oh, friends.
The Strikers become the first Queensland team to qualify for the Final Four.
Really?
So take that, Brisbane Roar. Strikers.
Isn't that embarrassing?
Mate, we were talking about this off air, Campbell.
We were.
Strikers.
Not Gussy.
Not Gussy.
No, he's
He's
a
an
bandwagon.
I don't know
Olympic fan.
what goes on behind the scenes with these two. Seriously, it's a bit
We actually do a whole nother podcast for it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No,
honestly.
Mate, we want the Strikers when they belong, don't we?
Yeah.
Where's that?
Perry Park, baby.
No,
In the
A-League.
final.
I
Oh,
want
yeah,
them
we
in
want
the
them
A-League.
there. Yeah, for sure.
So I think we've got to speak to some people and
Pull some strings.
pull some strings and make magic happen. Because
Yeah.
magic at the Cup, it's a bit of a running theme at the moment, I think. And
It is. Why not make it the magic of the A-League? Chuck them in the
mate, you
top
just
spot.
have a way with words, don't you?
Cheers, mate.
The magic.
Buy me dinner first, please.
Yeah.
See, this is what I mean. This is a kind of weird
This is that
tension
kind
we
of-
got going. And I'm kind of off to the side, like, okay, guys.
You know, moving on really, really quickly, please. NPLW final is this weekend. We saw
It
the men's final last week with the Gold Coast getting up.
Yeah, that was a Perry Park too.
Mm.
So
I wish I'd known that.
I know we were saying on air that it's probably going to be a Gold Coast, but it was
Well,
a Perry
no,
Park.
Wasn't the Gold Coast finish ahead? It shouldn't have been. It should have been a Gold Coast, shouldn't it?
Yeah, no, but they play everything at Perry Park these days, which
Yeah.
is fantastic.
It is pretty good.
Come
yeah.
on, you strikers! Coys,
Coys.
coys till I die.
We're going to have to get a jersey, mate.
100%.
With my name on the back or be on the sidelines?
Bon Scott
am I
on the
getting?
back, mate.
Oh,
Get a
Bon
number
Scott.
one.
Bon Scott. Bon Scott.
We've got
No,
Bon Scott.
But NPLW final this weekend, so we've got the minor premiers, the Lions women, taking on the Moreton Bay United women's side.
Mm.
Should be a good game.
Should be a good game.
I mean, we've had our issues with Lions as a club.
Again, we were talking about this off air without Gussy. Not a surprise.
Cool.
No, but if there's
That's
going to
fine,
be
guys. I'm
if
not
there's
hurting.
if there's going to be another Brisbane A-League side, it can't be the Lions.
No.
No matter how successful they are, no matter how much money they have, they're called the Lions. You know, you got the Raw, you got the Lions AFL side.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work.
There's too many
It doesn't work.
like
Choose
African
a different
feline.
animal.
Brisbane's a jungle.
It's very simple
is a
to
jungle.
choose a different animal.
Yeah. Anything else.
Or like not even like just like yeah. Why does it have to be a lion? It's just so
Yeah.
silly.
I don't know. You're not helping your case there. But, I mean, they are an excellently run club and
Yeah.
they've performed very,
Well,
very well.
Both the men and women have
minor
finished
premierships
first,
on
yeah.
both sides. I mean, men didn't win, but they got the
No.
minor premiership. Who knows with the women? They got the minor premiership as
They did.
well.
Yeah.
They may get the championship. We'll see. Where's that at? Probably Perry Park as well. I'd
Probably.
assume.
I mean,
So
actually,
we may
the
have to make
Lions
an
do have a great
appearance.
facility, so I mean, if they're involved, it might be
Could
there.
be there.
But actually, thanks for reminding me. The
Mm.
Strikers. Can we talk about the Strikers again, please?
Yes.
Coys. Anyway, to qualify for the FFA Cup, to get to where they are, they had to beat the Lions
Mm-hmm.
and beat Gold Coast. They had to beat the minor premiers and beat the eventual champions
Yeah. Wow.
through qualifying.
Yeah.
How can you support Olympic? It's baffling.
It just doesn't make sense.
It
I
is
think
baffling.
they're just trying to be
I
different.
never said I supported Olympic.
You literally did
literally
yesterday.
did.
Did I? I
You
don't
said it
even
on
remember.
the podcast.
Earlier in this episode, play it back later if you want.
I don't think I did.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering
Probably
how
wondering how I
I
got here. Well, if you, yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
Good.
yeah, great.
Yeah, nice, good content. They also had to beat your Wellington Phoenix, so
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care.
and Gold Coast Knights.
I mean, that's not a
champions,
That's what I
tough.
said.
That's not tough to beat the Wellington Phoenix.
You go do it then.
Yeah,
All right. I probably would.
you want
Cheers.
some?
Okay, here we go.
terrible.
Right, and
They're rubbish.
some rugby now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't
We've
been
talked a
speaking
lot
the
of rugby.
whole episode
No,
about
but-
rugby. Let's do some local rugby.
It's the last week of GPS rugby. It was
It
last
is.
week, so we'll
Yeah.
wrap it up. BBC getting a huge win against State High.
One would even say massive.
Huge.
Huge.
One would even say massive.
76-14 over State High.
Oh, I was at this game, boys. Where were you? Where were you guys?
Not there, mate.
Oh,
was
you
at-
weren't there.
I was at Solar Hill waiting for kickoff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Lucas Ripley, Jack Howarth teared this game to pieces. They just ran straight through State High. It was
Ted?
not.
Ted.
It was not even.
I don't know if
teared.
that's a word.
That's
Ted?
a word.
It's not a word.
When you like rip something.
Tall.
Tore.
Fuck. Oh, sorry.
You can tell he does architecture. He's not
Tore.
he's not a journalist
Ted?
like us, mate.
I swear.
Ted is not a word.
Don't go back to it.
Tore. Okay. Tore the back line to pieces the State High back line. I think Ripley ran in about 3 tries.
4 tries.
Or 3 or 4 tries.
Well.
They were just too good. And they actually kicked goals for once. Like, where was Lucas Ripley against Southport? The guy can actually kick him from the sideline. It's astonishing. 76-14 pretty much sums it up. Nudgy smashed Churchy as well, 62-0.
I'm
This is
actually
probably the one of most.
I'm really embarrassed about that. Because I say this every week. I wrote an article for Rugby News.
Oh my Jesus!
I know. I'm not
Dude,
trying.
you work for Rugby News?
I'm not trying to plug it.
Well,
but
imagine
I wrote
working for a major media organisation.
Makes no money.
I wrote an article talking about how Churchy might get it done. Well, don't I look like a bit of a goose?
You
So-
do look like
Mate,
a goose.
I think we might need to cut you from.
Yeah.
See, we make fun of Gus for his.
Yeah,
his
that's a pretty
his
poor
takes.
one.
I mean,
I mean-
I want to.
I mean, he also predicted the All Blacks to win the World Cup, so
Yeah. This is probably one of the
it's probably
first
another
weeks.
wrong one there.
It's probably one of the first weeks where Grammar hasn't had the worst scoreline.
That's true.
This is probably
still
the most.
pretty disappointing.
Yeah, but this is probably one of the most one-sided GPS rugby weeks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen it a few times this season.
Oh,
It has been
which
one of
is
those kind
a
of
bit
seasons.
disappointing, but I mean,
BBC, Nudgy, Ipswich. I'm sick of putting them in the results on the Instagram page. I'm like, God, they keep winning. I gotta put them on. Like,
You have to.
yeah,
but it's sad to see GPS over for another
I know.
season.
Another
Yeah.
year.
it's gone quickly.
No
Hasn't it?
surprise.
It's gone so quickly.
It has.
Ridiculous.
But BBC falling short again. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's
That-
standard.
best season in history.
thanks for that, college. Oh, God.
Gotta
I
love
mean,
it.
She's
great.
now I'm sad again.
Next year, boys.
Next year. Next
I've
year's our
heard
year.
the next crop.
Yeah.
Year 10.
They're good uns.
Watch the 15
I hear
A's.
the year 8s. I hear the year 8s coming through or something.
The 13 A's are terrible. They play
They
in
don't
the
even have a
Bs,
13
yeah.
A's.
Exactly.
How does that work? So do they just not have a 13 A's?
No.
No, they have
So
a 13 B.
They
Really?
said, okay, this is what they, I'm pretty sure they said this. They said, our 13 A's aren't good enough to compete against the other schools. So our 13 A's are going to play against the 13 B's. And the first game of the year was against Churchy.
Churchy.
They lost 27 or 35-0 or something to
Mm.
Churchy's B's.
At least I wasn't 40.
Mm.
I mean, that's perspective.
Yeah, 40's a tough score.
So what do the other schools' A's do? They just play like Downlands or something, or like Marist?
They must do, yeah. It works. I think it's the same with State High and Ipswich. Sometimes those two schools don't have.
No, but they
A lot
only
of
ever have
teams.
A's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like for B's or even sometimes or C's, D's, E's.
Yeah.
You usually play like Nudgy or Terrace,
Yeah, when they got like F's and stuff like
and
that.
you're like, oh God, I could be playing State High. Instead, I'm playing Nudgy's like Blues, and they're beating us 63-0.
15 F Blues.
50.
It's so weird from BBC though. Like,
Yeah,
I've
it's odd.
never heard of that.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is-
now
it's-
they do.
yeah, it's-
They
no, it's
do a
fair
lot
enough.
of internal trials now. So they run BBC against
have to.
BBC or
Yeah.
Nudgy against Nudgy. Well, Nudgy, I think, have been doing that for generations, but
Yeah. No, they have.
just internal trials. I think that's a better way of doing it as
Yeah.
well.
We used to do it all the time when I was at Nudgy.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Talk
but,
about your glory days, mate. Go on.
mate, grade 8.
Back in your prime.
That was my prime.
Yeah.
Year 7 maybe even.
Yeah.
AI, when we used to play against like Marist and, in the CIC.
Yeah.
That was the best. I love that, playing against Iona. That's the best name for a college as well. Iona College.
Oh, yeah.
Can't go wrong there.
JWH went to Iona.
Did
Yeah.
he? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, a bit of facts for you. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Mm.
Well, boys. I think that brings.
Cheers for that.
Cheers.
Any-
Cheers, Jeff.
Anything else anyone wants to say? Going once, twice.
Southeast are going to win the World Cup.
What?
It's not what you said before.
What? No?
What?
What?
Oh, I didn't say this in the preview.
Yeah.
If France make it out of the group, watch them to make the final.
Japan, I think, are a smoky to not win.
Look, I think Russia's going all the way, boys. Let's come on, you Slavs.
I watched I saw a video on Facebook of Putin, and he was doing a speech, and they put subtitles in to make it sound like he was talking about the World Cup, going, everyone thinks we're terrible, but we're actually a Rugby World Cup powerhouse.
Little do they know.
Little did they know.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. I was going to send it to you guys.
That's a
but-
singer.
Might bring
That's
a-
a singer.
They might bring a nuclear bomb on field and see how everyone.
Let's steer
copes with
away
that.
from accusing the Russian government of
And that's a-
nuclear espionage.
Anyway,
Well, you
moving on-
never know.
Moving on
What
very
happens
quickly.
at a World Cup
Very
stays
swiftly.
at a World Cup.
Very
Make sure
swiftly.
you're following us on our...
Bombgate.
Oh, God.
Chernobyl gate.
Shit,
they're gonna
Chernobyl the World Cup.
Let's
Well,
not.
I really hope not.
No.
Really hope
yeah,
not.
you'd be gone.
Otherwise, this chair's going to be vacant because you won't just replace me, right?
Oh, look, we've got some
We've actually
candidates
Yeah, we've got
lined
some
up
lined
for,
up.
for your spot.
interns.
Yeah, we had one in yesterday,
Yes,
didn't
we
we?
did. Yeah, we
For like 4 hours doing nothing,
Yeah.
sitting on their ass.
Poor
I,
guy.
I actually felt really bad for Flynn. That was
Yeah.
Angus's brother.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
just sitting in the
He
studio.
was supposed to take photos of us because Angus seems to think we're models. But
Yeah, we're really not.
nah,
I just need
There's a
some
reason why we're
content,
doing audio.
exactly. All right. Well,
You're
make
gonna
sure. Make sure if you're not, make sure to follow us on our Facebook, Instagram pages. You can see us on YouTube and listen to our podcast anywhere you get your podcast.
Please listen to it on Spotify, please.
Please.
Yeah,
please.
literally just listen on Spotify.
Just
I
chuck
don't
it on
care
in the
about
car.
anything else.
In fact,
Yeah.
you don't even have to listen. Just
Just listen to the
play.
first 30 seconds.
because that's all that counts.
Yeah.
Or
Or-
listen to the whole thing
or
because
do
it's
listen.
excellent content.
Oh no, they need to listen to the whole thing to hear this, and
Yes.
then to go back to the start
True.
and just.
This
press
should be at
play.
the beginning
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
because we can say anything now because people probably won't listen to this.
No.
point.
We. I was gonna say something really bad. No, we should. Don't-
I just mouthed the word off.
I was thinking at the start we should go. Listen for the first 3 seconds and then you can turn off.
And we need 30 seconds.
Say.
Oh, do you?
Well,
Yeah,
bring that
30.
up in the meetings.
Listen for the.
Our production meetings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't
Are you
bring
still listening? Probably not.
Producers
Anyway.
telling us to hurry up.
Go the All Blacks. They're going to win the World Cup.
Go
so
South
that's
Africa,
That's
they're
a
gonna
bit of
win
a
the World
spoiler,
Cup,
but do enjoy the World Cup.
on,
England
Actually,
aren't going to win the World Cup.
Russia.
Russia.
no point watching the league because
Yeah.
we've got some great rugby coming up. And
Yeah.
on that note, go the All Blacks.